We're coming to you from the heart of New York City, Times Square, and on a very sad night. This is the evening of the day on which a very great American was taken from us in a brutal, violent, and horrible, shocking way. And that's Charlie Kirk, who was shot and killed while doing what he did better than anyone else, and that is discussing common sense with American students who are victimized and have been for many, many years by Marxist teachers and Marxist brainwashing, Marxist education, even in Utah, which is hard to believe, isn't it? We think of Utah and we think of the Mormon Church, and we think of the beautiful West and conservative people, but over 1,000 people had signed, 1,000 students had signed a petition to keep Charlie off campus, which will give you an idea of how afraid of him they were, largely because they go into a panic when they are challenged to think. We've seen that any number of times. If you watch Charlie at all, and I think most of you do, you've seen him in any number of debates with these students who turn out to be horribly educated. But of course, I mean, this is the day that we found out that less than half of the kids graduating from high school can do math, and somewhere close to half can't read effectively or well. And it's been sinking and sinking and sinking. And that's the doing of the Communist Teachers Union. These are not accidents. These are not isolated things that are happening to us. They're connected. And Charlie went into the lion's den time after time. Lion's den meaning American colleges and universities, and took on the students who are horribly brainwashed. And then in some cases, they become vicious, and in some cases, they become violent, and in some cases, they become even homicidal. So, which is what happens with communism and socialism, because they're not taught that. They're not taught about the violent end of communism in Russia, and they're not taught about Castro response to AIDS by killing the people who had AIDS originally and putting them in prison until his Hollywood friends got mad at him. They're not told about all the people killed by Stalin and Mao and Xi Jinping, and they think China's a really nice place because they're not told about the concerted genocide of the Uyghur people by the Red Chinese government, or the taking of organs from live people who are practicing a religion that they oppose. These are all things that they're not aware of, and if you tell them that, they'll tell you it's Western propaganda or Trump propaganda, because these things have been going on long before Trump. So Charlie devoted his life through Turning Point and built a very, very gigantic organization of highly intelligent, highly motivated young people to go into the campuses and require them to think out what they're just repeating and saying. He would do it on abortion. He would do it on any number of issues where they think there's only one way to think. And that's the result of not some accident. It's the result of 150, 160, 170 years of Marxism. And their professors are avowed Marxists, and their teachers are, going back to the Teachers Union, which was formed originally by the Communist Party. And there was no one better at it than Charlie, which maybe is why they took his life. We'll have to see. And meanwhile, they've deprived us of a great patriot. They've deprived us of a great future leader. Who knows what he could have accomplished? Probably almost anything. He accomplished so much at only 31 years old. And of course, worst of all, we've got 2 young children who are never going to have a daddy because whoever this is killed him, assassinated him. And his wife, Erica, they've been only married like 4 or 5 years. They're a lovely couple. It's just heartbreaking. And we don't know enough yet about who did it or what the motive was, or all we'd be doing is speculating and any number of possibilities, right? So let's save that for when we know more about it. Can you bring us up to date?
Yes,
Ted. It's a little confusing, but at least it's been not announced but leaked.
Right.
That the killer, who originally was thought to be someone else, who's been set free,
right,
although charged with obstruction of justice.
The original person, that's right, Mayor. So Charlie Kirk, of course, the conservative activist and founder of Turning Point USA, was giving a presentation on the campus of Utah Valley University, the state's largest public university, when he was fatally shot. Utah Valley University is in Orem, Utah, just north of Provo. President Trump was the first person to confirm Charlie's death in a post on Truth Social. Videos circulating online, of course, we're not going to show the video. Right, Mayor? We're not going to show it?
I'm very torn by it. I don't know what you get from it. I mean, the video of the killing in Charlotte has to be shown because we've got to learn from it. And particularly what needs to be shown about that are the people who did nothing and just sat there and watched that girl get slaughtered and then bleed out and did nothing. And the fact that it is not at all debatable what the guy said afterwards, which is, I killed a white girl. That has to be shown. I don't know what we gain from showing this. He was shot in the neck, and there was a tremendous spurt of blood. And I mean, from the very beginning, when I first saw it, I didn't think he could make it unless just too much blood came out all at once.
So the FBI is confident that the person they now have in custody is in fact the shooter. Of course, this comes hours after a older gentleman, which was seen on widely circulated social media video, was first detained, then released, and not believed to be a part of the shooting.
But he was charged with something, which
we believe obstruction of justice.
Did he give the police a hard time?
Which wouldn't be surprising. We're learning more about that. Again, this is the first individual who a lot of you may have seen on social media. He was actually a well-known kind of local political person who had, much less serious issues, had you run into some issues with local political people, right? He was one of those local activists. So he was known by authorities, but not believed to be involved with the shooting.
Well, not originally. Originally, they grabbed him.
Originally they grabbed him, thought he was it. And then he was released. And now the FBI, this is coming from Kash Patel originally, they do believe they have the right person in custody. Again, this event, Mayor, being held on the campus of Utah Valley University, was attended by, they're now saying 3,000, at least 3,000 students.
Seem like more than that. But.
It does seem like more than that, at least 3,000. And the this is local police figures. And then the campus police said they had 6 uniformed officers assigned to the event, as well as some plain-clothed officers mixed in with the crowd. So at this hour, again,
the best we can do right now, can we show them that picture of the guy on the roof?
Yep.
Which is not definitive by any means, but
right. So
I also would point out the one thing you get, and maybe we can show this up until the point of the shooting, but right before the shooting, he was being asked a question, and this troubles me. He was being asked a question about mass murder. He was being asked by a student, I guess it was a student, how many mass murders have there been in the last 10 years, I think is what he said. And Charlie asked him to clarify. He said, do you want me to include gang murders? I think the guy said yes, but that gets drowned out because immediately he's shot in the neck. And the next thing you see is his head's going down and the blood is gushing out.
That's right.
It troubles me that he gets shot just as he's being asked a question about shooting.
Right.
You take it for what it's worth.
So the following video, this is from eyewitnesses on the scene, and it appears to show a man or an individual on the roof. So we're going to play this. This is about a 20-second clip. We want to get the full, if you can here. I'm trying to put some sound to it if you can't hear. Let's see if we can get audio here.
He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there.
Well, look at this. See that right there?
Yeah, he's right there.
Right there.
Just getting right up.
Right there. You see that?
Yeah, well, can you be sure?
We cannot be sure, but the eyewitnesses say that appears to be a person. They say
You're
that
talking about the highest building.
Yep.
And the thing poking out from.
Yes, and that same thing that's poking out, hard to say that's a person, but apparently the eyewitnesses say they saw a person running to that location. So it's we're looking. We have a few other angles. Bear with us here. I'm moving a lot of moving parts.
And where was Charlie in reference to that?
To the left.
Because
to the left.
But there's nobody when you're showing that to us. There's nobody there.
Well, if you zoom out at the beginning of the video, right? Look, this is if you look to the left. There's people on the left. Right over here, if you can see my mouse, the event is down there to the left.
Yeah, it's out of the shot.
Yeah, this is out. This is
the event is out of the shot.
Yes, this is way off.
So how long a shot was that?
They're saying 200 yards. Or let me, sorry.
200 yards?
200 yards or 200 feet? Let me,
Got to be more than 200 yards.
I thought I heard 500.
I think he'd already been.
We'll try to get you a number. I don't want to speculate.
Well, it seemed to be pretty far away.
I believe there's other footage. I'm trying to find other roof footage. There's pictures. Bear with us, folks. Sorry, there's a lot of moving parts here. I'm trying to find the right. Here's the video of the potential shooter running. Let's see if we get full.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Now, what is he? Is that the roof also?
Yeah. So let me slow this down. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Is he running after the shot?
I'm slowing it down. See that? This is after. So whoever's filming this is actually, I think, focusing on something else, right? His or her camera phone. But then they noticed this after the fact, and probably this is a zoomed in version, but the person isn't focused on this, right? They're focused on something over there, people running away. This appears to be the individual running away after. So this is just it's replaying the same clip here, but you see that shadowy figure.
So where does this come from? This footage.
Let me get you back on screen here, Mayor, and then I'll get that answer for you here. This footage is this is circulating on social media. We'll try to get the original. These are from eyewitnesses. We don't have specific names, but these are eyewitnesses at the scene. Here we have the alleged suspect being arrested. Now, again, guys, obviously a lot of moving parts. This appears, folks are saying this might be the arrest. This is someone being arrested, and some believe this may be in connection to the shooting.
Rifle on this dude's dash, and they just handcuffed him.
But again, we don't know. We don't know. So I'm actually hesitant to play this, but
Well, that is definitely somebody being arrested.
someone being arrested, which we can show, but we don't want to. We don't know at this time. So this is an individual being arrested in the area, but it's way too. We don't have the information to say.
We don't know if that's the person.
Yeah, so I actually want to take that off.
Well, that's all right. You didn't show his face.
No, that's right. We didn't show the face. And again, this is just police activity in the area. Let's see here, Mayor, if this is a better video. Yeah, this here, you'll see the arrow pointing. There's a nice helpful arrow here, Mayor. What do you see here? This is additional.
Yeah. You see it. You do see someone moving there. And from the noise in the crowd, it seems like that's after the shooting. Well, I'm sure in due time, well, when they have it all together, they'll let us know. Well, tomorrow is September 11, the 24th anniversary of the Islamic terrorist attack on America, the worst terrorist attack in the history of our country, one of the worst foreign attacks in the history of our country, brought about by Islamic terrorists who still want to destroy us. That certainly hasn't been put to rest, and made that much worse by the unbelievably insane open border that we had for 4 years that allowed terrorist groups to bring in anybody they wanted. And I'm sure they did, which leaves us in a position where we can't tell you. I mean, people ask me almost every anniversary of September 11, are we safer now than we were then? And up until Biden came along, I could pretty much say we were. But after he opened the border, how can I tell you you're safer? I have no idea who came in. Neither does he. And I think the FBI and the immigration authorities are doing the best they can to get that encircled, but they're surely not there yet. And there's no doubt that these terrorist groups took advantage of that because, first of all, they've been working for over 20 years with the Mexican cartels. And number two, they'd be foolish not to. I mean, they're trying like hell to get people in here, and now they're given a free pass. I don't know, just about escorted in by Biden and what he did to federal law enforcement. The New York City Police Department is on high alert.
That's right, Mayor.
And you could see it at the airport today when we came in. So
That's right.
let's unfortunately, as long as we're talking about murders and killings of a brutal nature, let's go back to Charlotte, because there are some major developments there that just aren't being emphasized on purpose. First of all, we haven't spent enough time on this, but if Wikipedia is constantly begging for money. If you give them money, you might as well go live in a communist country. Wikipedia censored all of the facts and footage and reality of the murder of Irina Zaruska.
Right.
And painted a totally false picture of it. That's true of Wikipedia throughout. It's filled with lies. I mean, it's got to be run by some character out of 1984. Yeah. And the fact that they are starving for money and begging for it, please don't give it to them. It would be really good if they went away. The damage that they do is immeasurable.
They're worse than Google.
Well, yeah, I mean, they actually offer support for the uneducated and the stupid.
Yes, yeah, that's what they're good for.
So way back on August 22nd, Irina Zaruska was murdered by DeCarlos Brown Jr. He, for reasons only known to him, she came on the train, and within a short period of time, he took out a knife and stabbed her in the neck a couple of times. And then she bled out with no one on the train helping her, except at the very end, after she fell down, a guy came from 2 cars away to help her, and nobody was helping him help her. And it was actually too late by the time he got there. But there were people just sitting there, undisturbed by the fact that this young girl was being slaughtered. And then, after it was over, the monster who did it, DeCarlos Brown, at least 2 or 3 times said, I got the white woman. What is it? What did
I
he?
got the white woman. That's right.
I
We'll
got-
play the. Sorry, I got it. Yeah. Do you want to play the clip?
It's
terrible.
Yeah,
Give me a
and so what is this? This is a racial murder.
Now we're trying to get
The guy is explaining his motive to you, and the people who could have helped that was sitting across from her were black, and she's white, and he is telling them by way of explanation that he got the white girl. This is absolutely horrific.
I got that.
What we're talking about is absolutely horrific. Do you want to play that?
Yep, we're playing it. Sorry, I'm also trying to get.
Go ahead.
Here's the video, and just listen carefully, guys. The sound is tough on this. The sound is hard to hear on this one.
Well, can we show them something beforehand? Okay.
There it is. You can hear it. Let me take the Chiron off. Sorry.
Yeah.
Proud of it.
So, did you hear that, Mayor?
Oh, sure, I did. Yeah, you have to play it again, just so people. Ah.
All right.
Now, this is, we can show it here, just still shots that'll point out to you that's him getting up, and she obviously doesn't know what's happening to her, and he's got a knife in that hand, and he's going to jam it into her neck. I think he does it twice, but I want you to see this part right here. This is after he's already done the deed. She's been stabbed now twice. She's looking up in absolute fear. I want you to look at the three people looking at it. The guy in the back with the Yankee hat on seems to be just an interesting observer. The guy next to him just looking over like, oh well. And the woman who looks like she's, well, now, if you go back and you look at his arm there, up there like that, let's make sure I get it right here. If you look at the arm up in the air like that, those two guys there, 1, 2, right? 1, 2. These two guys, let's look at the arm, could have grabbed that arm. The two of them could have grabbed that arm, and easily they would have gotten that knife out of his hand. Now, if they had any manhood about them at all, they could have taken that arm and broke it over their knee. It looks like the fat guy with the Yankee hat would be capable of it. Now, the worst part is, well, we don't expect him to have guts. But why do they leave her abandoned, bleeding out to death while he's going around saying, I got that white girl? What the hell's going on? And why is this covered up for 2.5, 3 weeks? I mean, the police have had this all this time, including that statement, I got the white girl.
Right.
What's going on? I mean, did the governor tell him to cover it up? Governor Stein, who is the architect of all the laws that allow this guy to walk around killing people? Is it the mayor who was thankful that they covered it up and wrote a tweet basically thanking a lot of the media for covering this up, which includes Wikipedia, by the way. Wikipedia. And there they are, right there. Interesting observation, right? Look at them. They're making an interesting observation. She's being slaughtered. A human being is being slaughtered. The guy in the back doesn't even seem to be troubled by it. That's her face right before she dies.
That's unbelievable.
That poor girl, huh? Look at the fear in her eyes. I think she's already been stabbed when that happens. Well, that's actually Fawn Hall. Well, I don't know what else we can say about this other than the mayor and the governor should be impeached. The governor should be impeached because he was the head of the commission that recommended to the then governor, Cooper, that they change the laws and allow these people out. This girl would be alive if that guy hadn't been Attorney General Stein. And he's babbling about all kinds of things now. The mayor, is a complete idiot. The mayor put out a tweet thanking the cover-up press for covering it up. And of course, nobody cast any attention to what we don't have to search for a motive here. He told us his motive. Sometimes the perpetrator tells you his motive. His motive was, I got that white girl. His motive was racial hatred. Who teaches that? Who teaches you to hate white people?
Universities.
We're systemically racist? You don't think that that lie didn't do tremendous damage? White people slaughter black people? I'm sorry, it's the other way around. Sorry, I'm just telling you the truth. To alter the truth based on race is racism.
Yeah.
Well, it's about 5, 6, 7 to 1. In a city like New York, for example, almost invariably, 70 to 75% of the murderers are black, people who do the murders. About 70 to 75% of the victims are black. About 10% of the killers are white, and about 12% of the victims are white. And it's about a 5, 6 to 1 chance that you're going to be killed by a black than a white. Those are facts. You need to know the facts if you're going to fix the situation. If you want to go ahead and have people slaughtered forever, then just lie.
Yeah, they'll call you a racist for just saying.
Well, and the people who suffer the most from it, because despite the fact that they kill whites at 4 or 5 times more than whites kill blacks, or maybe worse than that, they mostly kill black people. And mostly because they're lying like this, because they're creating this atmosphere. They're sacrificing their own people. This is horrendous. And it's been allowed to go on for 30 years, 40 years. Nobody will tell the truth about it.
When will they give us the identity of the killer that they supposedly have on the roof?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know when they're going to do that.
Right.
And I have no idea if there's any motive to that or whatever. Let's stick with one thing at a time.
One doesn't have so many things.
So there is of course, I would agree with this, but in one of the columns today, they go back to the 1982 article, Broken Windows, written by George Kelling and James Q. Wilson. And basically their theory was to make urban areas successful, it's not enough to police major crime. You must also rein in minor offenses against public order that make public spaces feel unwelcoming. What that means is you got to create an atmosphere of respect for the law. Nobody can take the law into their own hands. So it doesn't mean you can arrest all fare beaters or fare evaders, but it means you just can't let them do it with abandon. You got to put the fear in them that they're going to get caught for that. By the way, if you catch the fare beaters, they're very often the same people who do the murders. So you keep them off the subway. And subway crime is a disaster in New York right now. It's a disaster. Even the police commissioner will say that. Adams has actually done a pretty good job with street crime, violent street crime. But the subways are worse than ever. And I don't get it. Subways are not that hard to police. It is not that hard to bring down public crime that takes place on a subway, on a street. You see what the president did in D.C. Well, he did a lot of things, but I'll tell you the core of it. There were less than 400 policemen patrolling D.C. when they were murdering people left and right, raping them and beating the hell out of them. He brought in roughly 800 National Guard and 800 or 900 federal agents. So he tripled the patrol force. That alone will bring crime right down.
And that's not even a lot, really.
Yeah, I mean, but now places are covered that weren't covered before.
Right.
And most criminals, unless they're completely insane, don't commit crimes in front of a cop. I mean, we're probably getting there, but we're not there yet. If there were a cop on that whatever they call that transit, where they, by the way, they're having major crime problems.
Right.
Also, this guy, under the laws passed by Governor Stein, recommended by Governor Stein, when he was the incompetent attorney general, now he's an incompetent governor. This guy was arrested, and I don't know if he had 14 arrests or 14 convictions. The last one, the magistrate let him out when he signed a letter saying he'd come back. The Republican members of Congress from North Carolina are now calling for his removal as a magistrate, and he can be removed by the chief judge. I mean, that is she can.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just completely wacky. I've never heard of that. The guy's a career criminal, 14 arrests. One of them was beating the hell out of his sister, who withdrew the charges, or he might be in jail for that and not been able to kill her.
I don't understand, Mayor. I don't understand. 14 times? 14 arrests.
Yeah.
And this man is...
This girl was killed because of Democrat policies with regard to crime. That's why she's dead. If she were in a state with a Republican governor, a Republican mayor, a Republican legislature who would never have passed the cashless bail laws and they're doing another thing that's unbelievable. And this is how they claim they're reducing crime. They take a felony, they make it a misdemeanor. So now your felonies went down. They do it all the time. I mean, it's complete cheating. The idea of CompStat, which I started, was to be painfully accurate about crime, because it wasn't to tell the public we're doing a good job or a bad. It was to tell me whether we were doing a good job or a bad job. It was to focus the police resources in the right place. So if your statistics are wrong, you're not going to bring crime down because you're going to be going to the wrong place. It's counterproductive to cheat if you're using it for the right purpose. So all of a sudden you see, I'll give you a perfect example, a simple oversimplification, subway crime. Right at the beginning, when we looked at subway crime, most of the police were assigned to the subway cars, because mayors who were just political bullshitters and knew nothing about crime, and police commissioners who just sucked their backside, would say, we're going to put a police officer in every subway car, because it's ridiculous. You can't possibly put a police officer in every subway car. You'd have to have 100,000 police officers. but they would put them inside the subway. So we did a Comstat survey right away, and we found out that 3/4 of the crime takes place on the platform. So we switched the police, and crime went down 40%. Tough, huh? It's not being a political bullshit artist. It's caring about people's lives for real.
Isn't that what Curtis?
It's saying to a white precinct, I'm going to take cops out of this precinct because you don't have any crime. I'm going to put them up in Harlem. Well, we voted for you and they didn't. Well, that isn't the point. The point is saving lives. But they're not capable of saying that. I mean, some of the worst sellouts are the black politicians who represent these areas. For 20 or 30 years, they get billions of dollars and the places get worse. Did you ever wonder why? And did you ever wonder how they leave office so rich? So this girl would be alive if the insanity of Democrat left-wing criminology wasn't used. Because Stein was asked by Cooper, who was the governor, to do a report on how to make the criminal justice system more equitable. Basically, his report was to put criminals back out on the street. I've told you over and over again, there are about 6,000 to 8,000 criminals walking the streets of New York that wouldn't be walking the streets of New York if I were the mayor. And not just personally, but based on my policies. Cuomo changed the law, and there are now 8,000 predators walking the street. The same thing is true here. Probably the numbers are a little different. But this guy, no way he'd be out. No way. Also, for years now, we talk about mentally ill people. I don't know, if your kid gets killed, what does it matter if it was a mentally ill person or not a mentally ill person?
Right.
If mentally ill people are a danger to innocent people, they got to be locked away.
That's too complicated.
I mean, yeah, they have rights, but the innocent victims have more rights than they do. It makes no sense to let an insane predator walk the streets. It would be like allowing animals out of the zoo.
Yeah.
Let lions walk around New York. It's just unfair to put the lions back in the cage.
100%.
Let's let them walk around. Yeah, they eat a couple of kids and they eat a couple of people.
But they're just innocent lions, you know.
Yeah,
They
but
don't know any better.
poor lions. Are you going to hurt them when you take them in? And
Crazy people we got running this country.
And all we do is we talk about gun control. Well, this guy didn't have a gun.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They can get all the gun control they want. They weren't going to prevent this. Well, I hope that this murder creates a real change in these laws and gives President Trump the backing to get these cashless bail laws and all of these Marxist ideas about crime changed. Now, I bring it back to Marx. Don't know if you know the Russian great novelist Fyodor Dostoevsky, but it might be in Crime and Punishment. In one of his books, he criticizes the Bolsheviks, the communists, for their view of crime. And he says they blame all crime on the environment that the person was brought up in. So if you can blame crime on the environment, then there never is a crime that anybody's held accountable for. And you have a completely barbaric society. That's what they did in Russia. That's what the communists do. That's what Mondami wants to do to New York. That's what Stein and Cooper and Mayor, what the hell is her name anyway? The stupid idiot who was thanking the crooked media for covering this up. They kept it covered up for three weeks.
Vi Lyles.
Vi Lyles?
Yes.
Why don't they give her a normal name? Right?
because she has no brain.
Yeah. Doesn't it seem like they owe?
She won re-election as for the Democrat primary just the other day.
Yeah, she's been elected 4 or 5 times. And
I
the
mean,
city
at
has
some
turned
point-
into a hellhole. I remember that city was run by a Republican and it was safe.
Just 15, 20
when
years
I was
ago.
Mayor O'Rourke.
And even the last 20 years, I have friends, young
Well,
people
the place
moving.
turned when it was a Democrat mayor. Same thing in New York.
Yeah.
From the day I became mayor until the day de Blasio became mayor, there were no riots in New York. As soon as he became mayor, the riots started again.
And I saw the
crookedness
decline.
started again.
Right. And I've seen the decline, even me being with you for 3 years in this city.
Those were engineered riots.
The president says, and I'd have to go check exactly which cities, but 24 out of 25 of the highest crime cities are run by a Democrat mayor. Now, they go after him for being a racist because they say he wants to put the National Guard in cities that have a black mayor. No, he doesn't. He wants to put the National Guard in cities where people are being slaughtered. And you know who's being slaughtered the most? Black people.
It's crazy.
Has nothing to do with the mayor's white. You know what it has to do with? The mayor's a Democrat. That's what it has to do with. I don't know what it's going to take to stop these inner cities from mindlessly, stupidly, against their own interests to vote Democrat. I'll give you another example. So they put out the National Report Card. The National Report Card is a disaster due to the teachers union, completely. 12th grade math. The scores were the worst since 2005. Reading, the worst since 1992. 1 in 5 tested as proficient in math. 1 in 5. 22% are proficient in math. And 35% in reading. That means a big majority of American kids that go to public schools are deficient in math and in reading. But they probably can give you the 57 genders, right? This is disgraceful. Now, here's the good news in the report. It's not true for the kids, even the public school kids who go to charter schools. As a result of that, New York will not allow any more charter schools. They put a cap on it.
Why?
Well, because the kids get a good education.
Says who?
Says all the reports. The reports, one silver line.
So
Scores at charter schools mostly didn't fail, but got better. So you tell me why the New York State Legislature
Would take something that's getting
doesn't allow the creation of any new charter schools. Now, I want you to think about it. Thinking is very important. I'm going to take a break. And when we come back, I want you to tell me, and I'll listen, why the Democratic legislature, which is pretty much veto-proof in New York, and the nitwit hokey-pokey governor, why it is that they can't get any more charter schools when the public schools are below basic performance in math and below adequate performance even in reading. In science, the worst. Not true of the charter schools. Charter schools are public schools that do not have to hire teachers, union teachers, and therefore can hold teachers accountable. I tried for 8 years with the communist who now runs the National Teachers Union. She ran New York then to do that. I refused to give him a raise. Then finally Bloomberg gave him a gigantic raise and didn't get accountability out of him. That was a sellout. And since then, they're spending about 3 times more per student than I was mayor, and they're performing about 10 times worse. And they weren't great when I was the mayor.
Nobody's going to.
Meanwhile, the charter schools have been terrific. The charter schools have been terrific. You tell me why then. You tell me why the vast majority of black politicians who are Democrats are against charter schools, which 70% of the black parents want. We'll be right back. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Just in case you want to see it in black and white, take a look at the percentages there. Share of 12th grade students proficient in math, 22%. 22%. Reading, 35%. That is a tragedy to our children. There's the young lady who was killed.
Just the result of it.
It was a tragedy to our kids. Also, remember when the president fired the guy running the Bureau of Labor Statistics? Was it a guy or a woman? I don't even remember. I think it was a woman.
I believe it was a woman. Yes.
Yeah. And they, oh, it was terrible. What did he do? He's politicizing government or whatever. You know how wrong their job numbers were under Biden? About 2 million. Actually, you go back another year, it's 3 million. In other words, there were 3 million less jobs than the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported to suck up to Biden, the demented creep. I mean, Trump turns out to be right about everything. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that there were 911,000 fewer jobs created between April of 2024 and March of 2025. That's a lot of jobs, 911,000 jobs. Now, when you add up the 3 years, it comes out to 3 million. They were making it. Remember how Biden was saying, I created jobs, I created jobs. It was a lie, supported by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm guessing, but 90% of their employees are probably Democrats. 85% of the Justice Department are Democrats. 85% of the State Department are Democrats. they were doing that to try to keep Trump out of office. Now, the Wall Street Journal, or is it the Post? I don't know. It was the Wall Street Journal says Mr. Trump has good reason to be frustrated with the reliability of monthly surveys, though there's no evidence they were rigged. How can you be off by 911,000 and it's not being rigged? And Biden leaks out beforehand, jobs are up, jobs are up, jobs are up. What, do you think we're stupid? The Wall Street Journal is as bad as the damn communists. And then they attack him on tariffs. This is typical of Hollywood. I'll just mention it because you're not going to hear it anywhere else. There's a big concert to raise money for the victims of the LA wildfires in January. They raised $100 million. Nobody's ever seen the money since. There's no evidence that any of it was ever distributed to anyone.
Color me shocked.
$250,000 was spent on pet health care. They are trying desperately, the Wall Street Journal is trying desperately to tie Trump to this drawing of a nude woman with his signature at the bottom. Trump says that's not a signature. He never did it. And it's after he stopped conversing with the guy. Now, I know why he stopped conversing with him, because I've interviewed the people that were involved with it. He threw him out of his club, and he threw him out of his golf course because he was harassing the ladies who give massages. That's why he threw him out. Now, there may have been other business reasons but that was the proximate cause of him throwing it out. This so-called letter and then a check comes after that. But in any event, I can look at that signature and tell you it's not his. Plus, I don't think Trump can draw that well. I mean, it's been examined by numerous experts, and the Wall Street Journal insists on it. And that's one indication. Meanwhile, you got Clinton going down to that island 27 times and nobody writes about it. Trump never went down to the island, ever. The victims said that none of them ever had any knowledge of Trump being involved. Some of them have knowledge of Clinton being involved, including seeing him go off with a young girl. That's why they're doing this, to try to cover up for Clinton. How can it be that New York is on the verge, here we are the night before September 11th, of electing an Islamic extremist supporter as mayor of New York, a city that was attacked by Islamic extremists? Mondami and his old man are supporters of Islamic terrorist groups. He's had meetings with, given speeches to people who have made fun of 9/11. I mean, if that guy shows his face there, he should be punched out and thrown out. If he becomes mayor, he'll probably end the ceremony. I'm sure he was celebrating when it happened. He was celebrating October 7th, that's for sure. Now we have this great love of socialism among young people. 49% of Americans age 18 to 34 say they have a positive view of socialism. And it's only 30% of those over age 55. Why is that? Because the people over age 55 were well educated. They learned history. They learned about the Bolshevik Revolution. They learned about the slaughter of 70 million, 80 million Chinese by the Red Chinese Party. They know about Stalin putting, massive parts of his population in the gulag. They've read Solzhenitsyn. You think these privileged jerky kids read Solzhenitsyn, much less Dostoevsky? I bet they couldn't spell Dostoevsky, even though they graduated from Harvard. You don't have to spell to graduate from Harvard. Apparently, you don't have to read or add either. Betsy McCoy, who was former lieutenant governor, wrote a great article today about the history of socialism and how young people are woefully uneducated. Socialism is inherently coercive because it violates our rights as individuals to work hard for our own benefit. Yet it has become anathema to suggest that young voters buying Mondami socialist promises are victims of an inadequate education. How can she be wrong about an inadequate education since they can't read? More of them can't read than can. When occasionally they come up to me and say something, Ted, the FU or something, I say, that must be a product of New York City education. Your wide and varied vocabulary is an indication that you've been taught by the teachers.
That's the best comeback. I love when you throw that one.
And they
out
look
there.
like they don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they don't, you stump them because
Maybe somebody might, because they certainly have no idea what you're even talking about.
How many, when they were doing that river to the sea thing, how many of them knew what river and what sea they were talking about?
None of them.
very few. And by the way, that's the best you could say, because if they did know, then they're literally calling for genocide.
Yeah.
So
They're complicit.
we're actually, that's the best we can give them, is that they're uneducated.
Is that they're ignorant.
Because if they knew what they were saying,
This
my
whole
God.
idea on housing, she does a great job of analyzing how this is a product of Eastern European communism. And you think about he's going to reestablish public housing. They just spent billions of dollars to take down the public housing in Chicago because it was the source of so much crime. And you think the public housing in New York isn't the source of nature, isn't the source of a tremendous amount of crime? Then you're out of your mind. Probably one of the worst mistakes that were done would have built those gigantic buildings with people with substantial problems all huddled together, instead of spreading it out and giving them more room. I mean, those public housing projects, when I became mayor, were a place you went to get killed. And we had a housing police. I merged them in with the police department, cut down crime in public housing by 70%, 75%. How about I put cameras in the elevators? All the Democrats went nuts. I was violating their privacy. I was a racist because I put cameras, and the developments were mostly Black and Hispanic. I didn't put the cameras there because it was mostly Black and Hispanic. I did put the cameras for people getting raped and murdered and beaten. And do you know, the residents loved me for it, and the politicians hated me for it. And crime went down 70%. Because they don't like to commit crimes on a camera. They're not that stupid. At least now they would do it because the judge would let them out. Well, we are on the verge of getting the first communist mayor. Let's hope there's a chance to change that. We played Curtis Sliwa's ad last night. We'll play some more of them. Michael Goodwin, who is a great New York City, not just New York City, but a great columnist in general, did an interview with Adams where he says he doesn't get he doesn't have any inkling that Adams is going to quit or leave. Or then I see an article here that Adams wants to meet up with Trump at the Yankee game and try to make a deal. So I don't know what's going on and what's not going on. I mean, right now, I would at least like to see us take a shot on one of them. And I would support Adams. I do support Curtis. I mean, I'd probably even support Cuomo over Mandami. I just wish they could work it out so we get one shot at him.
We played Curtis's first ad last night, so we won't do that again. But we'll be sure to look out for any more on that race. And of course, well,
There are 63 transit criminals with more than 5,000 busts between them.
wow.
From crimes from robbery to sexual assault to assault. And the vast majority of them are walking in the streets. Only 5 of the 63 career transit criminals are in jail. 5 of 63, which makes the point that there are 5,000 to 8,000 out there all around the city. There's one named Carlos Baez Caban. He's got 48 arrests. His last one was he bit a rider while stealing her phone.
And Mom,
He's on probation. Shaquille Clark include pressing his groin area against one woman and punching another while robbing her. He's also free because a Democrat crooked judge let him out. 62% of subway felonies were downgraded to misdemeanors. That's how crime is going down in the subways. Well, there's 62% less felonies. Bragg declined to prosecute 69% of the misdemeanor arrests, which just means you end up with more felony arrests, then you make him a misdemeanor, and then you dismiss him. Well,
and again, we must remind people, Mamdani, one of his big goals is to reduce the jail population. He wants people out.
More criminals on the street.
well, tomorrow is tomorrow is September 11. And I do think of it in connection with October 7. And if you look at it on a per capita basis, it works out about the same. And it's the same ideology that attacked us. Muslim terrorism. Taught to them by Muhammad. We have to face that. If we don't face it, we're going to be living under this threat forever and ever and ever, including with this absolutely ridiculous candidate that's running in the city that was victimized by Islamic terrorists. So tomorrow we'll devote a good deal of time to September 11 and what it meant, and what it means for the future.
Can I play a short video of you from that morning?
But you certainly can, and I would conclude by asking you all here on the eve of September 11, first of all, to pray for all those families and what they went through, because they're going through what the family of that lovely young lady who was slaughtered because she was white, at least according to the person who slaughtered her. She never thought she'd come to America. She thought she might be slaughtered by Putin in Ukraine because she's Ukrainian. She didn't know she'd be slaughtered in America because she's white. Or Charlie Kirk. We don't know the motive. We will at some point. But we lost a truly great man. And that's our loss. And it's one that we're going to have to deal with. But we really have to take into our arms the family and ask God to do that. Ask God to embrace them, to embrace his wife and his children, because they're the ones who are going to suffer the most, of course. Needless shouldn't be. So pray for the people of America. Pray that we can have a much wiser view of human conduct, human behavior. We can get beyond these hatreds that are manufactured for white people. Also pray for the people of Ukraine, people of Israel, the people of Iran, people of America. Pray for the repose of the soul of Charlie Kirk and grace for his family to deal with it from God. And pray for the president. The burdens of being president during this transition are tremendous, tremendous. He was handed the country in the worst shape it's ever been, in many ways, morally in particular. And he's doing a great job of putting it back together. So give him the strength to carry on.
Mayor, I have to ask, you comforted not just this city, not just this nation, but the entire world following one of the darkest days any of us have experienced, no matter what your age or where you live that day. People are hurting tonight. People are hurting, obviously, with the 24th anniversary, I don't want to say anniversary, but 24 years
24.
since September 11th. People are still reeling from what we saw in Charlotte. And now today, with the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, I can't think of any person to turn to for, I don't know if we're looking for words of wisdom, solace, but what is your message to people tonight? People are hurting, and there's for numerous reasons here.
I believed on September 11, and from that point on, that we got to bring this country back to God. We have to be a country like our founding fathers said, understands that the rights that we have as Americans come from our Creator, from God, and that He's the supreme being, and that we've got to pray to Him. We have to ask for His guidance. We have to do everything that we can to live by the moral precepts He requires of us. They're pretty simple, and yet they're profound, right? The Ten Commandments, and the teachings of the peaceful religions. I exclude the Muslim religion from that until it changes, and until those changes are embraced, because they're not. Because you can pick up a Quran and read about murdering Jews and Christians, and they do. Read it and do it. And the other Muslims who don't embrace it don't have the courage to condemn it. It's only going to end when it's faced. You cannot win a war until you identify your enemy. You cannot solve a social problem until you identify it correctly. Just like I said, if you have false Comstat numbers, you make the wrong decisions. Well, if you convince people that the real problem is white violence, and that's what you're combating, a lot of black people are going to die because you're not combating the real problem, which is black people killing black people. At least 75% of the problem in New York. So my answer is to seek guidance from God. Read the Bible. Read the religious texts. See what they require of you. And bring God back. My goodness, even if you don't believe in God, it's better to have God. People act better. If I can convince you of that, it's very, very hard to hold people to moral precepts when they think this is all there is. It develops a very, very intense hedonistic attitude. That's what communism does. And Marx tells you that. He wants a society without morals, without rules, ruled by criminals. So you have to turn to the authoritarian government made up of people who are sucking your blood. So bring God back into America. Let's pray before class opens. What's wrong with that? That's not establishing a religion. Establishing a religion is saying we're all part of the Church of England. That's what it was about. Not about praying to God. But the communists got hold of our thinking And they knew they had to get rid of God just like they have to get rid of parents. You think this war about families is just about that? It's about 170 years of communism. Read these things, study, try to grasp and understand the depth of our problems, because then you can be a force for good. Don't just sit by and watch it and scratch your head and wonder why it's happening. Figure out for yourself why it is. And then become a force like Charlie Kirk was. Maybe we all can't be Charlie Kirk, but we can make our contribution in saving this country. And we have him to guide us now, and we have him to pray to. So we'll see you tomorrow. Very sad day tomorrow for me. I'm sure for all of you. But too many friends, too many families, too many children without fathers or mothers, and too much corruption that has opened us up now to just unknown numbers of terrorists that are in this country. That's what happens when you have your border open. So let's once again pray. That's my answer. Pray to God to give us the strength, the guidance, and the intelligence to overcome this. And we will. America has so far defied all odds. We started that way with the War of Independence. We went through it during the Civil War. We went through it with the communism. We're going through it with communism again. I believe that our moral precepts will prevail. God bless America.
So people should remain calm. They should remain where they are, except if they are in southern Manhattan. If you're below Canal Street, you should walk out of southern Manhattan and walk north, as these people are doing right here.
All right, that's cool. Do you know anything cool? Do you know anything about anything?
All that we know right now is that 2 airplanes struck the 2 large towers of the World Trade Center. We spoke to the White House. There also apparently was an attack on the Pentagon. We asked that the airspace around the city of New York be sealed by military aircraft. We've been informed that it has been, and we've seen military aircraft up in the air. So we're hopeful that right now things are secure. We need all of the open space we can get to evacuate people, to get people out, and we're going to have to move now and go north. So
I need all media to cooperate and make this cool.
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace. Oh. Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time? And who can say if your love grows as your heart shows, only time? We gotta
It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. It was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze,